All right, everybody, how you guys all doing out there tonight? Welcome one, welcome all. Sorry, I've been just grinding away in the charts right here. I know I've been, I've just been kind of waiting out this whole weekly close here. As we've seen, we've seen us definitely drop below the L2 on the Gauss line on the weekly, and that right now kind of throws us into a little bit of a bearish conundrum here, right? And now at this point, since we have closed below that bearish weekly H2 on the Gauss, which is our high line on the Gauss on the weekly, which is now up at 81.10. So it's up at 81.10. That is now our upper resistance. So our upper resistance right now is parked at 81.10. And I'm going to have to throw that bad boy on here, and it's right there. So that's where that hammer is. So we got our first hammer right there. Our second hammer is actually going to be a little bit higher, 81.50. So I'm going to plant that second hammer up just a little bit higher right there. But we do have two hammers on the top side right here. And here's my biggest thing, and I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible, right? Number one, our weekly Stoke is, oh my God, our weekly Stoke is so deep. Let me go find that weekly Stoke chart really quick. And where are you at? Where's my big weekly Mamma Jamma chart? There it is right there. So look at our weekly Stoke. It is so damn deep. It's right here. It is insanely deep. It is it's as deep as it was way back here in December 2011, when we were definitely coming out of a bearish market. And you see this nice monster run up that we had right here. But we have put in, and I've put in a big purple triangle right here on this chart, another big purple triangle. We're sitting on a weekly 7 right here, just kind of camping. But I mean, look at how damn low we are on this weekly. Now, the last time we were pretty much down this low, we got this nice yellow box bounce out of it. Here's the nice little yellow box bounce up to the top of that triangle, right, which was still bearish. We were unable to break out of this triangle right here. So we came all the way back up into the top of this triangle, putted around, rejected, moved sideways, and then eventually fell out there, right? We're doing something very similar right here as to what we did. And I've got to say, this Stoke is absolutely so deep. Now, remember, this is a weekly timeline, so this has nothing to do with sharp and quick dips to fill gaps and whatnot. I mean, there's nothing that says you got a whole week for this to play out, that we can't get one more little touch down into that 76, 75, 76, even the 7200 well area. Now look at this, and I put a green warning signal here. So look at if you go all the way back, you track yourself on the RSI, held, right? Held, bounce, held in here, held, bounce, bang, finally fell out. And look at that. There we are, right back down to this level right here. Now we are definitely in more of a bearish posture here. We're definitely in a little more bearish of a dire situation, right? Because as we've come down into these bear markets, you see that the bear market has tested this level, broke through, there's this bounce, right? But it puts us definitely into a more bearish posture here. With that being said, the Stoke is so deep at this point. I'm like, golly, man, I'm really looking at this, thinking that right here we could see some kind of a bounce for sure, right? I definitely think that we could see some kind of a bounce pulling out of this, at least getting us up to fill this new gap. So we've actually got a brand new gap that we've just got. We're sitting on a lot of 9s on a lot of different time frames, okay? So we're sitting on a lot of 9s just on so many different time frames here. Let me show you this. Let me find my 9s chart. One of the things, look at, here's the 9s. Here's your 3-day on a 9, your 2-day on a 9, this is your 12-hour on a 9. So man, we've got a lot of 9s right here that are working. Now this The way that it's sitting, this is a much more bearish 9. This is a bearish 9. We need to see this play out as a perfected 9 for this to be more bullish. But this is still a bearish 9 the way that these are sitting right here. This did poke a little bit lower on the 12-hour, but you see that lower Bollinger Band. Look at the 12-hour. This 12-hour still choked up. 81.50 right there on the top side right there. We see a lot of the 81.50, 81.30 numbers showing up as our topside resistance. You know, other than that, right here, I mean, I see that 81 and change line, but I'm also looking at that 8225 area where you're going to get that gap fill. So we've got an open gap right now, an open bullish gap at the 8125 level. So another chart I really want to show you guys is here. This is kind of my weekly chart. Very simple. This lays this all out. The weekly close under 8100 for this week. Now we've got to go all the way through this week. If we get a close under 8110 for this week, we still got 7 whole damn days, right? We're 7 hours shy of 7 days at this point. And if we do play out this entire week and close under 8110, right, this will be a very, very bearish, and I would put us on a very, very high probability to hit the middle Gauss on the weekly anywhere between 6,500 and 6,800. So we don't want to close this weekly. Now this candle that we just closed out here, still, even though this is quasi inverted hammer, I don't like this wick we have right here that's playing out. I do like all of the closes though that we had right here. These are very nice, but this to me just looks like a bearish inside bar candle. I don't like that candle setup for the weekly. I also don't really like the volume that's played out here. I don't like the volume that's played out here. This is still decent volume for this last bearish candle that played out. I would have looked for something to be much weaker than that to really have a super bullish bias change here. I am bullish on a bounce from here though. Believe it or not, I'm bullish on a little bit of a bounce, at least to close that gap up at 82.25-ish. Right, 82.25-ish is kind of where I see that gap. Look, there's all your 4-hour, your 6-hour, that 81.30 range. You're going to have a lot of resistance in here as you've got all these moving averages crashing together right now. Look at your 6 hours on a 9, your 4 hours on an 8. Once more bearish 8. Look at your 12 hours on a 9. This is screaming for at least a little bit of a bounce here. At least to pull off some kind of a little bit of a bounce here. Other than that, man, I'm looking for some. There's the gap that's right there, right? Look at the gap here. Now the gap on the CME futures right here shows the gap at a much higher level. So it shows that gap. Let me mark that bad boy on my chart right here. Right. So it shows the gap right 80.26. Right, shows the gap at 80.26. Okay, so it does. We show the gap over here at 82.22 on our. This is our gapometer. So we have the gapometer that's up right there at 82.22, but the CMEs actually show that gap at 80.26. Now I want to once again go back and find my chart. We did create a bearish triangle right here. There's that 8200 number right there. I mean, bang, 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 bang. Fill that. Completely possible, right? Completely possible, but we are still trending bearish here. I did put a much larger bearish triangle up here. So I did put a much larger bearish triangle. Listen, the gap mafia still has got that open gap at 11,800. It will get filled. I don't care if it's in the end of this year or the beginning of next year. 11,800 will get filled. There is that gap that's up there popping, and it is just waiting to get filled. Okay, it is waiting to get filled. The futures mafia always fills their gaps, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I am going to raise this a little bit higher here. I'm going to actually bring this bad boy up to And right there, 85.90. 82.90, sorry, 82.90. I'm going to bring that up to 82.90. I'm going to leave this at 8100 right there. We also know that 8,300, sorry, 81, what's it, 8130. It was 8130, right? 8135. So where it is, let me find that. 8135. Yeah, 8135. Okay, there it is right there. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this. I'm really expecting a bounce right here, right? I'm definitely looking at a bounce playing out, right? I really think we can see a bounce here to possibly 81. I mean, it can. I mean, 81.30 is 81.35 is equals R1, and 82.95 equals R2. But it's that weekly. The weekly is just, man, there's so many TD9s right here. There's just so many TD9s. I just really feel like we're going to see some kind of a bounce. I mean, I really want to see some kind of a bounce right here. Even if it's a small one, I mean, we're not really sitting, we're not really laying on anything right now. It's not like we're laying on support other than just laying on these wicks. I mean, there's really, I mean, we're not laying on any support. Once again, I don't see us on fib lines. I don't see us on any substantial support right here, other than my historic support, which, I mean, I've said this is the support. My charts have shown this is the support. But we're just, listen, we're just not sitting on anything. You know, the daily 200MA is well above us. The 3-day 200MA is well below us. Oh my God, with something we talk about, you know, now our weekly, we're sitting on that weekly 100 that's gotten poked 3 times now, right? Poke, poke, poke. The only thing we're there, so there it is. This is the only damn thing that we're laying on. We're laying on this weekly, there it is, 77.50. Let's just call it 77.50. So 77.50 is what we're laying on. So let's go right here. We're going to switch this. Okay, so we're going to come right down here, hold or die. We're going to 77.50 equals the weekly 100MA. MA. I mean, this is, and this is a weak, really weak hold line for us, right? I mean, there's nothing. This is not like this is a really substantial support line right here. It's not. I mean, the only thing that's just that a lot of the indicators say, hey, we're on a 9. Kind of need to bounce. We need a reset, right? We just need a reset, especially that weekly, man. That weekly is just insanely, it's just so insane watching that weekly. We do have room. Look at 7,500, 3-day 7,600, 7,400 on the weekly. All right, 7,400 on the weekly, so we're going to spread that just a little deeper right there. And 74.19 is a little more accurate. 74.60. yeah, we're not really laying on anything, right? I just think we're gonna get a little bit of a bounce before we get some more down action, right? That's really all I got. All right, that's really all I got. I'm thinking we get a little more up skis. If we get anything, I just think we get a little more up skis here before we get some more down. We're so insanely oversold on a whole bunch of indicators. I would at least like to see some kind of a bounce. It's irrelevant to me how high it is. I just would like to see some kind of a bounce here before we get some downside. Okay, that's it. That's all I got for everybody. All right, I would like to see a bounce. That's it. All right, everybody, have a good day. I'm the Vamp. It's been my pleasure. I will catch you all later.